Joining us now, Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro of Connecticut. She is the ranking member of the House Appropriations Committee. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Why don't we start right there on that vote? You know, did not pass, but was close. Congressman Mast, we just read you what he has apparently indicated to the White House. But of course, it's a different thing to say that, you know, privately when the vote's already done versus actually standing up to do it and risking the wrath of the president. What is your sense of the appetite from your Republican colleagues for continuing this war?
Well, first of all, good morning, and it's great to be with you. I think you are right. There is an appetite. We should have won that vote last night. It lost by one vote. There was a lot of pressure on our Republican colleagues. A couple of them just didn't show up for the vote. But that isn't going to deter us. This is an illegal war, and I think Republicans are beginning to view that. We will continue to put forward war powers resolutions, etc., until we get that passed. That is what we need to do to end this illegal war, and we're committed to doing that, and that's in both the House and in the Senate. And I believe we will get Republican support. They should have done it yesterday, but you live to fight another day in the business that I'm in.
That is certainly true. So, Congressman, from your perch on the Appropriations Committee, you're an excellent person to ask questions about budgeting. The rumors are the Pentagon and the president are going to ask for an extraordinary, biggest defense budget in the history of our nation. Give us your sense of that. And again, if I may, ask you to kind of look across the aisle. Do you think that Republicans would really sign up for that, too?
Well, you know, I can't answer that question because what we can't do now is we cannot get any information. When the OMB director, Russ Vought, testified before both the House and the Senate budget committees, when asked the question about the cost of the war, no answer, could not give any answer. Cost to date, no answer. Supplemental appropriation, no answer. We have no idea of what they are going to come up with. We've heard $250 billion, we've heard $80 billion, or somewhere in between. And keep in mind that right now, the Department of Defense has $1 trillion, money from appropriations, money from the big, beautiful bill. And so now they are talking about, and in the president's budget request, there is another request for $1.5 billion. And now we have no idea where they're coming up from. I don't know what the Republicans are going to do. I would hope so. I have heard that the numbers, those high numbers are unacceptable, and they should be unacceptable. We have no accounting for what's been spent, what it's been spent on, what do you need to move forward? And I personally have asked that question on several occasions.
Congresswoman, speaking of the accounting here, there are a zillion stories that are flying through the news cycle. One of them, I hope, can be, again, the fact that, according to multiple reports and investigations, there's been a sharp rise in deaths in ICE custody. How do you describe the accounting on what Americans should know on that story?
Well, probably, my God, it is really extraordinary. You have, since the Trump administration, 44 detainees have died in ICE custody. And we are looking in the 20s right now, I think 26 or something like that right now. And we need an accounting of this, which is why, let me get to the Department of Homeland Security. The issue is and the American people are clamoring for this, is that we need to take a look at ICE and the CBP and look at how we reform, how we overhaul, how we put in the protections. That is the basis on which the administration does not want to come forward and do anything about this. They want to continue to detain and deport U.S. citizens. They want to have no warrants to kick down someone's door, no accounting for the detainees, people being shot or dying in custody. And there are no answers to these questions. And quite frankly, until we get the answers, until we have the guardrails, and the overhaul and the reforms in ICE and CBP, we are not going to appropriate another dime, which is why they're going to try to bypass the Appropriations Committee and do something in reconciliation. This is an agency that is lawless, it's reckless, it's out of control, and we have masked and armed agents who are, marauders on the streets of our cities and terrifying people. That cannot be. And that's what the whole fight about is with regard to the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, and extremely important storylines to follow here, even as so many eyes have been on the Middle East. Ranking member of the House Appropriations Committee, Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro of Connecticut. Thank you, Congresswoman, for joining us this morning.